Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Square One League, Week 5, Day 1, Game 2. Unfortunately, we didn't have Fuzzy Esports versus EUS Anonymous earlier on because EUS was a no-show, so that was an FF. I am joined by Karam. I have, of course, Daxel, and today we are bringing you Glorious Gaming versus Stopwatch. Now, Karam, how do you think that this game is going to go down after that questionable game from Stopwatch that we just saw?
So this game is actually a non-linear story, and it actually depends on what Glorious Gaming decides to do in their bans and picks. If they ban Mordekaiser, they're, more likely to win. If they don't ban Mordekaiser and they get past the 30th minute, then they insta-win. What we saw last game from Stopwatch was something that has been plaguing them for the entire split thus far. It has been their inability to actually close out games. Every single time they get these leads in lane, Darkblood goes absolute ham in that top lane. Incredible, super solid. Even Bomberhunt and Malakbel were finding leads this time around, but as soon as it comes to actually controlling the macro aspects of the game, as soon as it comes to knocking down the structures, they were unable to do anything. And so we just need to see them try and iron it out a bit, but it's gonna be very difficult going up against someone like GG.
So do you feel that maybe they need to go for something a bit more scaling, or do you think that that's just not in their wheelhouse? They just need to not touch with a 10-foot barge pole, leave that alone, go for that front-loaded sort of team comp, maybe a Draven, I don't know, like something that will win early.
See, I do not think that there is anyone on Stopwatch that can actually really pull that out outside of Darkblood, who already likes playing those carries. Last game we saw him on a Mordekaiser where he was extremely dominant. The last game that they played against Glorious Gaming, he pulled out a Renekton and he went 9-1. This guy is a monster. You can give him those early game champions. The problem is, once again, trying to transfer those leads into the mid game. And so I think that if you put Credible onto something that isn't precisely a mage. I know that last time we saw him play Vel'Koz. We have also, however, seen him play Nico. Something that can force the early game objectives much better could be something that Stopwatch decides to go for here, because it's kind of worked out for them last time against GG, even though the game still lasted 40 minutes.
Yeah, well, 40 minutes isn't exactly where STW feel comfortable. As you said before, they don't really know how to close out games. Their objective control isn't the best. We saw them throw once or twice at Baron, even in that last game that we saw just there. So they don't know how to take these advantages and run with it.
Yeah, they really don't, and that's something that we're gonna have to keep our close eyes on throughout the entire split, or the remainder of it, of course. I believe that they have one game that they haven't played yet because of the teams that have FF the tournament and were disqualified as a result of that. However, right now, if you do look at the standings, I believe that they are sitting at the very last place, just above Fuzzy Esports, who did FF that last game of ours. So they can still climb into the middle of the pack leaderboard. However, it's looking like it's going to be a pretty tough road, and they haven't really convinced me, at least in that first game of tonight.
Yeah, they really need to do a lot to try and convince all of us analysts and casters and all the viewers out there of their merits in this tournament, of that they can reach that playoff sort of spot, that they can rise up in the tiers, in the ranks in this league and make it to that playoff spot. They are sitting at 2-5 as of right now. If you factor in that last game that was a loss, they were 2-4 at the top of the day. Now they're at 2-5 against Glorious Gaming, now who are at 3-3. So Glorious Gaming starting to look a bit better, but as we did say, they did win over Glorious Gaming the last time that these two teams met. So it's a bit of a toss-up. Neither team's really coming in as the underdog to this game. But I think we have to qualify that Glorious Gaming took down EUS and Royal Reapers, whereas Stopwatch did lose to Royal Reapers the last time around.
Yeah, I feel like Stopwatch right now are kind of the Glorious Gaming killers, because the only game that they have actually played and won has been against GG. Their other victory has been a forfeit. So, hopefully, they can keep their Brave Knight pants on. And a bit of an analysis about how the last game against GG went. All of their lanes won, and the most important thing was Jappy was doing exactly what he was doing in the first game tonight. He was finding those leads. He was on a Sejuani once again, just finding those ganks, get someone ahead, get Darkblood ahead, but Clearly, that's not enough. You have to put attention everywhere. However, if you manage to shut Whisper down, if you manage to give Bomberhand those earlier spikes on a hyper carry, you can get a much more favorable position as we move into the mid and late game of the game. And well, that can be something that Stopwatch may need as we move on to Summoner's Rift, hopefully in about 5 minutes. We're still sitting in that in-game lobby.
Yeah, we should be getting into Champion Select relatively soon, in the next 30 seconds or so, hopefully. But we did see Bomberhand on that Kaisa, which is known as one of those kind of hyper carries, not quite the Vayne, not quite the Jinx, but it is a late game AD carry. So it isn't really working out for them in a certain number of metrics. They aren't working out with the hyper carries. Darkblood on a carry, more suited towards the early game that we saw in the Mordekaiser the last game as well, didn't really work out for them. They couldn't push those advantages. So we'll have to see how they choose to change up their drafts in this game. And the Sejuani will be taken away from Jappy. We saw how good he was in that last game, even though it wasn't a win for STW.
And it's a bit of an unfair matchup here in this picks and ban phase, because Glorious Gaming, they're going into this, well, after not really watching the stream, but they still, could have had it somewhere on the second monitor or something like that, so they know what Stopwatch are really good at, and so they're just taking away the comfort picks. The Sejuani, mostly aimed at Jappy XD, once again, amazing performance last game and in all of the previous games that he has played on it. Hecarim, a signature pick taken away from Samus, however, and he is the man that I'm going to be watching for Glorious Gaming specifically. We've talked a lot about Stopwatch, but if there is a single person that is going to be finding those early game leads for GG, it's gonna be Samus, and now his champion pool is going to be a bit less limited, or a bit more limited.
A bit more limited there, yeah, with the Hecarim taking away one of his comfort champions, as you said, Zoe taken away now from Henk Henkerson, and the Sivir taken away from Bomberhand.
And Silas, just lovely top it off. I want to hone in kind of on the Zoe pick, as Henk Henkerson has been allowed this pick twice, in what I remember. One of them was that loss against Stopwatch, and the second was a victory of GG. Unfortunately, I cannot remember who it was against. However, this guy is an absolute monster, and he isn't precisely that type of person that is going to be finding those leads through aggressive outplays. He's the guy who will outfarm you. He's the guy who is going to be playing very solidly in that laning phase and then move into mid-game and absolutely destroy you. So that guy is gonna be also someone who we have to keep our eyes on. And as now, first pick. Hey,
a couple more seconds. It will be the Vi locked in for Samus. I think we've seen Vi piloted by Samus previously, and from what I remember, he does pretty damn well on that champion, so good to see him pick that up early so that it won't be banned away in the second rotation by the side of Stopwatch. We'll just have to see how Stopwatch chooses to respond to this. There was a there was a Vayne banned away from Stopwatch as well, targeted towards Whisper, and it looks like it's going to be the Morgana locked in from Malkaba.
So I know that play-by-plays often ask the questions, but I want to toss you one. What do you think it's going to be? Is it going to be damage Vi, or is it going to be tank Vi?
I think it's going to be damage Vi. I think he just wants to go straight in, punch everyone's face off, make sure he can solo carry the game.
After all, it's Samus. We know him, we love him. It's going to depend, of course, on the rest of the team comp, but damage Vi, something a bit more common nowadays. Now, as we move into the Stopwatch realm, Darkblood has locked in that Morgana for most likely Malakbel, can be also going to mid lane. And before this game, the casters were talking about Shen going to the support position. Of course, not very meta as we speak right now, but Stopwatch, they're not really putting anything coherent in place just yet. They're just saying, alright, we got the flex picks, now try and aim around that.
And speaking of aiming, Ezreal gets locked in for Whisper there in the bottom side and has a lot of skill shots for that champion, but very powerful once you get the tier online into the Manamune, into the Mora mana. So we'll have to keep an eye on that bot lane as well, see how that plays into Morgana. He has his Arcane Shift to get away from that Dark Binding as well, but sometimes you just can't get away from the Soul Shackles coming out from that Morgana, and it will be the Yuumi locked in for Roksha.
And this is fascinating to me, because you often see Yuumi picked together with a hyper carry, because you mostly want to be going for the late game big 5v5 team fights where Yuumi is really able to shine. But given that you're now pairing her up with the Ezreal, that's two very, very big squishies in that bot lane. And if you lock one of them down, well, they're kind of dead. However, I'm gonna be looking closely at how much poke they have. Are they going to be able to bully out the bot lane of Stopwatch? They haven't actually locked in an AD carry right now, so they can ban something like that Xayah from the hands of Bomberhand and just try to abuse them there, because once again, they've won through winning all lanes, and so far they're poised to do it once again.
Well, Aatrox gets targeted away from Perrin. Can be flexed to that mid lane for Hank Hankerson, but thinking that it would be targeted towards that top side. Wait a couple more seconds to see what gets banned away. And as you said, that Xayah does get banned away from Bomberhand. Response will be the LeBlanc.
So just taking away some of the more aggressive options from Hank Hankerson. A bit curious, as I don't actually remember seeing Hank on something of that nature, like the LeBlanc or mostly just Assassins. Of course, still, you don't likely want your Lux to be going against something like that, if it even is going to be Lux. Once again, we kind of have to see and wait for this second pair of bans, just to know where everything is going. I really appreciate Glorious Gaming, because of this. We know where,
With the starter ban?
going. No, I mean, like, just where everything is going. Unless it's Yuumi jungle.
Makes it easier for us, makes it easier for Stopwatch as well, because they know exactly where everything is going, unless they want to go Vi top lane and Ezreal mid or some weird stuff like that. But we're pretty sure as to where they're going right now, and Nunu and Willem will be locked in for Jappy. Stopwatch is saying, you need to buy some stopwatches here, get rid of all our CC.
God, I hate you so much. Alright, yeah, you know what, we're just gonna roll with that. So, now, we can probably assume that Nunu is gonna be going into the jungle. What are Glorious Gaming going to respond with? The problem is, Nunu into a Vi isn't precisely a matchup that I would prefer if I were the Nunu player, because she can easily 1v1 you, she can easily invade you, and it's gonna be coming down to Jappy to be really fighting those ganks. So, his CS might be tanking as we go into the game, but he can still find an what's it called? Influence the lanes. Yes, that's the word.
Now, with the Rise locked in for Hank Hankerson there, potentially for Perrin, but it looks like it will be the Gnar locked in for him. Remember, this is patch 9.13, so it is another reworked Rise. So his W does not insta-stun, he needs to proc it as well. And also will insta-dash with his E, the Overload, so we'll have to keep an eye on that, see how he can pilot the brand new, pretty much the exact same, but slightly different Rise.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, I actually haven't seen, fun fact, I haven't seen Rise post the rework, so I'm gonna be very curious to see how that one plays out. Looking like now the teams have completed what it's going to be, and looks like it's gonna be Morgana and Jinx bot lane into an Ezreal and Yuumi, and I'm gonna be curious to see how that one goes, because Jinx does have a more favorable wave clear compared to an Ezreal, but she is relatively mana hungry if you just want to be using the, what's the name of her rocket launcher? Chomper?
Fishbones?
No.
Where's that the machine gun?
No, wait, that's... See, like, I'm now entering the kind of the zone, right? And I know that I'm not gonna be talking for like 3 minutes if I try to think of this. Fishbones, yeah, no, I think it's a Gatling gun.
I don't know. I
think that's a
I
bad
don't think
question.
about these things. I just go with switcheroo. That's her
That's
cue.
good.
Just switcheroo. That's all you do.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one, but like, if you say, if she's stuck on the switcheroo, right, like,
Yes.
what's that even supposed to mean? But regardless, that's gonna be a fun, very farming lane, one that is most likely going to be only influenced by the jungler's interference, and for this, I really like both of the jungle picks that have gone through from both sides. Vi can go into that bot lane, and even though Morgana can use a black shield on that Jinx, it's kind of going to go out if Yuumi procs her with that Q, so there is some potential to be finding these picks very early on, and on the other side, Nunu, he's a Nunu, and he's gonna be playing into an Ezreal Yuumi, and while those two are incredibly slippery, if you get a single piece of crowd control down on them, they're just toast, they're just immediately dead.
And speaking of crowd control, look at the side of Stopwatch. They have so much crowd control. A very oppressive lane in the bot side. If you land a binding, you just throw down the flame chompers and Jinx will just CC you for days. And as you said, Ezreal Yuumi, they are a squishy bot lane. You do not want to get CC'd. You have to rely on your flash, your E from the Ezreal as well to make sure that you can stay safe. And to some extent, the zoomies from Yuumi to try and keep yourselves alive. And I say yourselves because Yuumi, you rely so heavily on your AD carry to stay alive that it's pretty crazy. You don't even take a flash, because once your AD carry is down, or whoever you're attached to is down, you're going to go down.
And that's the funny thing about a Yuumi, right? Because you'll often look at the scoreboard, and you'll be like, wow, this Yuumi has been really useless this game, and she's gonna have like one death, and that's because she's always on her carries, but she never actually dies herself. Even though she has like 500, or wait, no, at level 1 I think she has like 350 HP, which is,
350, you serious?
I think so.
That's bizarrely
Is it?
little.
Okay, you know what? You keep on talking, and I'm gonna look those base
Yeah,
stats
you
up.
should be googling that.
Yeah,
I actually really want to know because 350 sounds abnormally small. But if we look at these two rosters as we kind of peruse down either side, the Shen Nar one is kind of one that I would like to inspect for a little bit here because Nar, just off of the face of it, sounds like it's going to work so much better for the side of Glorious Gaming because of the range advantage that he has over the Shen. But when you start to scale up a little bit better with the Shen, getting more experience, getting more items, he can go for an all-in onto the Gnar. If he doesn't have his Mega Gnar form, then the Shen can put a lot of hurt down onto that lane.
Yeah, definitely. As long as Gnar doesn't actually have his rage completely filled up, Shen can be going for these trades. But the problem there is Shen is going to be suffering from the melee into ranged syndrome, and which is incredibly hurtful in that top lane. So do not be surprised if you see a 20 CS deficit on this Shen very early on. But as you rightfully said, as those items get evened out a tiny bit and as Shen gets his resistances, it's going to be more and more difficult for Gnar to actually punish him. So even if he starts to snowball, Darkbot is almost always going to be able to find not leads, but ways to secure the side lanes. So GG are going to be having a bit more of a difficult time. However, they did manage to lock themselves a 1-3-1 composition, so as we move into the mid game, they're not only going to be having Gnar split pushing, but they're also going to be having this Rise, this another rework Rise in the other lane.
And he's just showing off with his triumphant Rise skin. Hank Hankerson's just like, I got this. I've won tournaments before, my friends. You can rely on me. But if we look at the side of Stopwatch, they have a fierce protect the AD carry sort of composition. They have the Shen with the Stand United. They have shield from the Shen as well, shield from Lux, shield from the Morgana. They just want to keep this Jinx alive, get this Jinx to 3-4 items, make sure she can be the hyper carry she was built to be. And you also have the Nunu Willump to be that acting front line.
However, for that to really kind of come to fruition, you have to either give Jinx a couple of kills, as Jinx is an AD carry that snowballs very efficiently, or just, get into the late game, which, as we have said in the pre-game, mid-show, it's a bit of a bane for the side of Stopwatch. So they're kind of changing up their rule set, where it's often been Darkblah on a carry in the top lane, Jappy on something that can gank really well. That still stays the same, but, well, we're gonna have to see how they can actually work around it, because they're not going to be having that top lane pushing away from them. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, we will have to wait and see, as ladies and gentlemen, we are onto the Rift for our final streamed game of the night. Glorious Gaming versus Stopwatch. And they have the lines of scrimmage coming out from both sides. Lux will be in the mid lane for the side of Stopwatch. No shenanigans of a Morgana mid lane, but Malak Bell will be piloting that particular mage in the bottom side. And it's going to be a pretty even game, one has to assume here.
So I looked up the base stats for Yuumi. It's not 350.
Okay, what is it?
It's 480.
Okay, it's a little bit better. That's kind of what I'd expect, more like that, yeah.
That's
350 was really low.
Yeah, I think that's
you kind of lowballed that one.
Yeah, that's like 3 auto attacks more from the Jinx, which is pretty significant when you think about that. So, as you said, going to be likely an even game, especially from the very early points where the only real points of advantages are going to be found by either the junglers or the top lane. If you see Perrin going very aggressive, do not be surprised. He's the kind of guy that will pull a Yasuo in the top lane. So Gnar, in fact, is a little bit of an odd pick for him, but it does signalize that he can still play very aggressive and find those leads himself.
We'll have to see if he can get those leads. He has pressed the attack, so he wants to be going for these early trades against Darkblah in that top side. So we'll keep our eyes on that matchup as it progresses. And both junglers starting off on their red side buffs, and just gonna start off nice and easy.
Looking like they might be going for pure full clear as well. Both have pretty healthy clears. So if you look at their health bars right now, Jappy is full, Samus is full. Very happy right now. The only person who isn't precisely happy right now, I think, is once again Darkblah, but we've mentioned that lane quite sufficiently. He's actually keeping up. That's lovely.
Yeah, he's a pretty decent Shen player.
Yeah.
So he's not going to be doing too badly, but even if we examine this early game, it's going to be a little bit of poke control coming out from the side of Glorious Gaming, and they do have establish a little bit of extra vision in this early part, make sure that they could keep a track of these junglers' movements a little better from the side of Stopwatch, as they can see that Vi was towards his chickens in that bot side quadrant, so they know that he's more probably going to be going towards this top side.
Yeah, and it was a point that I was going to bring up in the first game for the mid laner of Aussie Esports G, who didn't precisely keep his vision control properly and got ganked as a result, and that is also what we're going to have to focus on, especially around summer, like that mid lane where you don't have anything like plans at Nuno's bot lane.
Coming towards the bot lane with the biggest snowball in the world. Will be able to hit into the Ezreal. Can they find anything here, though? Getting him so low. A couple of more auto attacks might be able to do it. Zap will not hit. We'll take a tower shot for good measure and almost goes down. The binding did connect, but it wasn't enough damage.
Yeah, super patient there from Whisper. He didn't flash prematurely. Instead, he just used the Arcane Shift, dashed away, and he knew that there was no possible reality in which Stopwatch would be going for a dive this early on. So he just survives and manages to go back to poking the bot lane of Stopwatch.
And manages to trade actually quite evenly in that bot side, and now look at this. This is exactly what we said.
Yep.
Darkblatt can go for these full-on engages, and even though he got the best of that trade, it was traded back in favor of Perrin, but this is kind of how the lane seems to want to progress and how we expect it to progress.
Yeah, it's the natural order of things. The ranged wins the matchup. Now, Credible.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the hurt down onto Credible in this middle lane. Gonna trade a lot of damage back. Samus in a lot of trouble here. Credible has a lot of mana in the middle lane, as well as the flash, as well as the barrier. In comes the Nunu as well. Can they find a kill? This will be first blood if they can find anything here. Hank Hankerson trying to get away. Flashes, doesn't have a lot of mana at this point, but manages to get out.
Yeah, great flash there from Hank Hankerson once again. I think he flashed a little bit into the wall, but still he managed to get away, and it's crucial that he doesn't give any leads away to the pockets of Stopwatch. Now, if you look at the CS scores, they're pretty even, top lane with a little bit of a lead. However, the 400 gold, I think, is coming through mostly bot lane, as Whisper has been able to get his Kleptomancy off so many times already.
Yeah, a little bit in the top side, a little bit in the AD carry position. Ruksho just taking a lot of free damage there, and Bomberhand gonna dodge behind his support just to absorb some of this damage with the Guardian, so it's not going too badly for them, and gonna take a lot of damage onto Bomberhand either way.
It's just so frustrating to be playing into Yumi. I've played into her once because I'm not a bot laner myself, but like every single time you think you've got the drop on her, she just pop, she runs away, she dashes away, and suddenly she's no more, so...
But the good thing is, if you put a Ignite down on her, it still ticks as she goes to her AD carry or to one of her other players.
Something, I was in Alpha, or I was in my Ezreal that time around. Alright, so...
She can still go down.
Yeah,
it's not something you can complain about.
Right? Okay, so, Jappy, fighting 1v1 with this Vi, actually winning it.
I don't think that they're going to get a kill here, but in comes Hank Henderson to try and support him. Knocked back, now rooted. This is a lot of damage coming through, but Credible is there to support. Vi almost going down here. A couple of more auto attacks, maybe another ability he would have gone down, and now in this top side, Mega Gnar is going to come in. Gnar against the wall. He has a lot of damage here. Going to try to find the first blood. Dark blood, fail flashes, hit. First blood goes over to GG.
And that is what happens when you disrespect the Gnar. Perun did manage to hit that level 6 first, and even if he didn't, he would have the superior combat ulti in comparison to this Shen. He just goes in, gets the stun off on Darkblatt, and that's all she wrote for this ninja Shen.
That was so well done for Perun. So sad from Darkblatt. He just fails to flash over the thick part of the wall, and that ends up giving over first blood to the Nard that we were expecting him to lose against anyway until the mid, maybe late part of the game, where he starts to get these cooldown timers, where he starts to get a lot tankier, and now he's almost 10 CS behind, he's a kill behind, he's not going to feel very good in this lane.
And the problem is right now, okay, I'm gonna shut up.
Yeah, flashes forward, Lightbinder connects, out comes a File Spark, and Hank Henderson goes down.
The man who I have praised oh so much for being the kind of source of never dying for the side of GG now falls prey to the first kill of Stopwatch. Very unfortunate. There's just so much CC on Stopwatch, as you rightfully pointed out, as we were moving into the game, and Hank doesn't have his cleanse. He opted for a TP instead, and so there was no way he was gonna get out of the grasp of the item.
Yeah,
now,
especially
I
with
really
that flash
go
going down. You can go for as many puns as you want. I love using puns.
No, like, I wanted to go for a pun with Stopwatch, but I just couldn't.
Is it because you couldn't bring yourself to do it? Is it because I used a stopwatch earlier?
I'm saying that I couldn't bring myself to it, but I'm just dumb and I couldn't think of one. So
Oh, okay.
you know what? I'm trying to save my image here. Okay.
Our stopwatch count for this game, by the way, is 1. It's only Malak Bell that has a stopwatch. It is ironically on the side of stopwatch. So
Yeah, very,
just
very
want to point that out for everyone sitting at home watching this game. Only 1 stopwatch on the side of stopwatch. And if we just look at the vision game at this point, it will spot out Samus if he wants to try and make his vision. Sorry, if he wants to try and make himself known in the spot side, try and get something here. It's actually quite a hard lane to gank if they can get the black shield down onto someone as well.
And the problem is, right now, Ezreal and Yuumi cannot reliably zone out the side of Jinx and Morgana, even though they do have the level 6 in comparison, just because the wave clear of this Jinx is so great, and it allows Stopwatch to move into that river brush, get that control ward down, and so now, it's just so difficult to gank them, because they just run away with the black shield.
It's just as easy as that. Black Shield will save your life, at least until patch 9.14, when Shield Breakers come out, and you're gonna have a bad time then, as the Shield Champions might fall a little bit in priority.
Yeah, definitely so. And so the status quo is kind of established, however, a 1 kick of a gold lead already created in between the teams. Once again, bot lane and top lane disparity coming through, mid lane still kind of a tiny bit lead for Hank Hankerson just by creeps. However now, Nunu looking to change things, Arcane Shift, go.
Yep, they knew that he was coming towards that bot side. Yuumi isn't connected to his AD carry, but that doesn't matter. Will not connect until now, and out comes the ultimate from the Nunu will mean nothing as Samus takes him down. Malak Bell in a lot of trouble here, gonna try to find the damage back. Bomberhan takes out the Vi, and now in comes a Bio Spark, finds 1, looking for the second one, doesn't have the ult for Bomberhan. They'll just find 2 in the bot side.
And a crucial overextension there from the side of Glorious Gaming. They thought that they could try and keep on fighting that just because they were confident. Samus managed to get there without being spotted. They managed to slaughter Nunu, yes. They managed to slaughter Nunu immediately. They were feeling good, they were feeling fancy, but well, in the end, Stopwatch turned it around as Credible went on a fabulous row.
Yeah, it was just so well done. They knew he was coming in, and they punished him hard for it. Ruksho wasn't even connected to Whisper there, and didn't manage to find the connection from Jappy with his giant snowball, unfortunately. Not that that really would have saved him, but speaking of snowball, he's going for a gank in the middle lane again, but we're not connected with anyone.
He just loves that lane.
Just trying to help a friend out, trying to get Credible ahead.
I feel like I think that must be a bit more affectionate than just friendship at this point, just because of how many times he's been there. But now, he's been paying a lot of attention to the mid lane, but despite that, Hank Hankerson, once again, he's out farming this slug by almost 20, which is insane given that it was just 5 about, what, like a minute ago that I talked about it? This guy is a monster at slaying creeps, but Nunu is a monster. A literal one, I think. No, Willem is a monster. Yeah.
Nunu's the little kid. You call the little kid a monster?
They're also monsters. I spent 7 days laying in between kids at a beach, right? Okay. Cut me some slack. If I didn't have headphones, I would be dead.
You think? I don't think kids just talking and screaming will physically kill you. Maybe mentally it'll kill you.
One child ran past me and screamed into my ear and I wanted to die. Regardless, back into League of Legends. Rifthold has been popped in that top lane, trying to just finish that turret off straight up. Nara has been pushing into it ruthlessly, and so it just falls down.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and call the wave here with the True Shot Barrage. Might be able to do it in time to save this tower, and they're gonna get a lot of damage down onto it as the final chapter comes out. They find so much damage. Malak Bell has to go golden, but will not survive this engage here. But Vi on the top side are gonna try and get one back. Uses Spirit's Refuge, forced to flash away from Darkblood. He will manage to get out clean, even with a house thrown at his face.
Yeah, the first stopwatch of the game.
Oh, I didn't expect him to go down there, but Bomberhan gonna try and trade one back, will not manage to do it as Ezreal picks up a double kill.
Is this League of Legends or League of Overextensions at this point? Both teams thus far have gone for plays and just stayed there. They should have just bagged Stopwatch. They should have realized that, alright, we lost the member, we cannot get that turret. Instead, they stay around, and Jappy does the crucial mistake of trying to go back in while he is super low and just gets blown up by Whisper, giving him the double kill together with with Credible, who was just staying by, just like, hey, I'm here, I'm friendly, you've been to my lane, like, 10 times now. I gotta help you out, man. That's psychology at work here, ladies and gentlemen.
It's almost like we're watching the LCS with these overextensions that we're seeing.
It's not funny. We don't make fun of wildcard regions here, okay? That's just bullying at this point.
I'm just imagining you with like the best poker face. You're just like, that's just seriously not funny, man.
Yeah,
Just don't make fun of the NA.
I love my NA region, right? I mean,
You just like the jerseys, all right? You just like the jerseys.
yeah. It's not about if you win. It's about the journey, right? So I mean, that's what NA is good at. And I was gonna bring that to my point, but I just cannot think of a way how to do that.
It would be great if you kept that
Right?
to the Bard, to the Bard games, because they go on magical journeys.
Oh my god, that would be terrible. You
wanted to put in a pun earlier on. I'm just trying to help you out.
I love you
Helping
and
out
hate
friend.
you at the same time, like violently. So,
Wait, who?
No,
I'm
move on from that.
I'm not gonna probe into that. If we keep a focus on this game and onto League of Legends, Purin is in that middle lane, forced to flash out incredible. In comes the Stand United now. Just go back up the middle laner and make sure that there's no kill pressure in that lane.
And fun fact, I think that was the first Stand United that Darkblood has
was.
actually used this game, which is pretty strange given that it's already 14 minutes in. He really wasn't able to influence the map at all, and okay, Hank Heckerson might be finding something here.
Ooh, misses with the Q, but forced to flash out Malak Bell. He gets down to just over half health here, had to pop the blast plant to get away. But if we examine the use of Darkblood's ultimate, it feels like you can attribute it maybe to a bit of communication issues within the team. They aren't coordinating cross-map plays, even though they have Bomberhound on this Jinx, this hyper carry that you want to scale. You want to try and get picks in the early game so you can scale towards that mid and late.
And when we recall to an earlier teamfight when Stopwatch were trying to find leads in that bot lane, it still was the same thing. Okay.
That was a weird realm warp, but they get a pick onto Credible. That was incredible! They get another pick here onto Jappy. Can they find the damage? Out comes the ultimate. Will go down. Samus picks that one up for himself, and he goes forward with the flash here. Malak Bell gonna go down as well for the double kill for the Vi. They're still looking for more. Out comes the ultimate for Bomberhound. Not gonna be quite enough. He flashes away, still has the heal, but they're gonna take this bot lane tower.
And that was a very, very strange reaction from Credible because he was simply running forwards. I think he was looking at the situation in the bot lane and he wasn't actually looking at himself, so he didn't spot the Realm Warp until it was too late. He got bursted down immediately and the side of Glorious Gaming just moved on to otherworldly matters. And this game is just not looking like the same one that Stopwatch have played against Glorious Gaming where they were able to smash all lanes. No, this time it's Glorious Gaming returning the favor, winning all of the lanes thus far, and it's looking pretty tough for Stopwatch.
It is looking pretty tough to them, but the action continues as Jappy gets caught out in his own jungle. They're like, nah, this isn't your jungle, this is my jungle, Whisper says as he takes him out.
Like, what can Stopwatch do here, realistically? It's already a 7k of a gold lead. Glorious Gaming are now snowballing fabulously, even though the Willump is on the other side of the map. Or rather, how would you say it, on the other side of the ground?
You could say of the rift, of
of the ground, like if he's dead, you know.
Oh, right.
Like under the ground buried. See, this is my humor. I have to explain my jokes because they're that bad. Regardless.
It was pretty bad.
It
to
was
be
pretty
fair,
bad,
it was
thanks.
pretty
So,
leave tons of damage to me, and I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll just get mental damage on people. So, Glorious Gaming, they clear out the mid lane wave, and they go back. Now, if you look at the situation on the items, Whisper is pretty close to finishing his second item, I think, which is going to be the Iceborne Gauntlet. Pretty interesting, given that he could be going for a Triforce instead. Now, Perun is in a little bit of a danger here.
Yeah, might be able to be caught out, getting a lot of damage down with the rockets there. Zap, I'm not sure if it connected. I don't think it did. He would have been slowed down a lot more. Perrin still trying to get away. In comes the teleport now from the side. That will be Whisper coming in. It will be a 2 versus 3, but that's a lot of damage coming in from the True Shot Barrage. In comes the ultimate now from the Shen. Bomberhan has to try and get away, but Shen so low here. They can still go for the fight. Has the Mega Gnar as well, forcing the 4 to back away, even though the binder connects. Out comes the Foul Spark. One more coming in now. Double kill for the side of Stopwatch. They get 2 back.
That was just wonderful from Credible, but now, Jappy, you have to be careful here, buddy. Okay,
You cannot be taking these fights. You cannot be that overextended without the help of your teammate against Samus. And you have the kitty cat there as well. Credible now, off to the side. Gonna try and help him. Give him a little bit of pressure in the lane. We'll be able to use the you to me to get away.
And when we look at what Glorious Gaming have been doing thus far, it's simply overextending without actual vision of the area. Now, Realm Warp coming through, that's right behind Credible.
Yeah, he's looking for a pick here, but will not be able to find it. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. He will not be fooled that second time. They're going to look for pressure now in the middle lane with the giant snowball, taking a couple of tower shots just for no reason there.
Oh, the footwork.
Yeah, fancy feet coming out from the side of Hank Hankerson, and has the Ezreal there just to try and help him out. Foul Spark just to cull a little bit of this minion wave in the middle lane, and not quite enough range on that Q for Whispered Fish off the kill.
Definitely not just yet. However, to kind of return to my point about the vision control, Glorious Gaming should be having absolute dominance over these jungle quadrants. Instead, however, they were letting Stopwatch have at least some vision, and it allowed Credible to find that incredible 2 picks on 2 people. I was saying that sentence, right? And I realized what I had done way too late.
I already used the incredible pun.
Yeah,
so,
I know. I didn't even mean to.
You're just copying me now as Perrin goes down.
Yeah.
This is a problem. This is a problem with both Glorious Gaming and Stopwatch. They both like to overextend in lanes. They both like to go for things that they just know that they can't take. And Jappy's gonna go down. His ultimate just does nothing. He's tanky, but not that tanky. He only has his Ninja Tappy. He only has his Cinder Hulk as well.
Christ.
But Samus will be the retribution.
Oh my God.
The final spark is enough. And Glorious Gaming, they're just overextending. They're losing their lead. Now 5,000 gold instead of the 7 that there was earlier.
It really is kind of reminding me of a solo queue game. And that's not to be in a derogatory way or anything like that. It's just that these players are moving around the jungle, not really respecting the fact that there can be someone hiding behind every single wall. If you don't know where he is on the map precisely, you have to be careful. You cannot be sitting on a bush and just trying to bait someone solo. And that is exactly what both of these teams are doing, and it's what has led us to this gold lead that Glorious Gaming were sitting on, those 7,000 to diminish to mere 4k. And now, you're gonna be facing a 5-1 Lux, who has already finished her Luden's Echo and is building into a Morlonomicon. That champion is going to be crazy, especially as we move into a point where she has 3 points in her ulti, and it has about a 30-second cooldown.
Yeah, that's going to be really fierce, especially if you factor in the 7 stacks on that Darksteel. If she keeps rolling, she can go towards a Magi's Soul Stealer, which will just be so powerful on this Lux pick. And speaking of the vision that we alluded to earlier, you can't hide on bush. You're not Faker in this game. You're just not. That's all you can say about it. You can't be overextending here. You don't have the extensive vision coverage that's required for you to be making these picks. You can't Fnatic Deathbrush without everyone on your team there. You're going for these picks alone, and you're being punished.
And right now, it's still not a lost game for Stopwatch despite what we have seen so far. This is exactly the pinnacle of this game thus far. Malak Bell and Samus just sitting on the opposite side of the wall, you know, kind of Germany in the 1970s imagery right there. So,
Too topical, too soon.
Too soon? Too soon? It's been like 30 years almost. Okay, now, no, going in. Samus.
70s were like 50 years ago, my friend, but Samus caught out a little bit. Ruckshow needs to try and get to his AD carry, doesn't want to get him caught out as well, and will manage to get away. Didn't quite get a pick there from the side of Stopwatch, but Perrin was pushing in the bottom side, so that is a must for Glorious Gaming.
Yeah, and there is one rule that I always try to follow on stream, which is don't do math. Clearly Stopwatch didn't do their math either because they weren't able to find anything. Now Perun is behind them.
Ooh, that's a flash Meganar against the wall. Out comes the ultimate now from the Nunu. Doesn't have the damage just yet. Off to the side. Malak Bell will be taken down by Hank Hankerson. Finding the damage. Perun goes down as well. That's one. Either side. Flash forward now from Credible. Has a lot of damage here, and Samus will be eventually going down. Credible picks up his 6th kill of the game, but they have to retreat on the side of Stopwatch. They don't know if they can take this fight just yet, and they're going to take a lot of poke damage just for good measure.
Yeah, a very adventurous choice there from Glorious Gaming to be going for that engage, even though Perrin essentially went 1v3, kind of reminiscent of our NA games that we have seen. But he went in 1v4, and in the end, Hank Hankerson wasn't in that fight, and Whisper was effectively zoned away, so he couldn't do any damage. As a result, Stopwatch were just able to maneuver around that fight, as Jappy, once again, overextended. I know that we're kind of a broken record at this point, but it's just what these players are doing. It's the name of the game here.
It really, really is, and both teams looking for these picks, looking for to punish the overextensions. They punish, but then they get punished back, and Whisper, he got punished heavily there. Bomberhawk, the bounce just takes him out.
That's the reworked Rise. Absolutely busted, right?
Powerful.
Yeah, Hank Hankerson, however, yeah, he really showed us the amount of damage that he has already at just 22 minutes with just 2 items. And you have to remember, the Rod of Ages hasn't even stacked out completely. He does, however, have the Seraph's Embrace completely upgraded, and, you know, he's also going to start to hurt. The very difference between Rise and Lux in this case is that they're still going to be having similar amounts of damage, but Rise is going to have more up front as long as he manages to get into the thick of it. So, if they manage to catch someone out, he can do a lot more. Yeah,
nope,
okay.
Nothing gotten from the Giant Snowball. He had no backup from the rest of his team.
Yeah, once again, both these teams are just trying to engage, but they're never together to actually engage as 5. It's always just one person jumping forward and then being stranded. And as a result, it never really works out for these teams, and just leads to overextending and just going 1v3, 1v4, perhaps even 1v5. Haven't seen that.
Nope, not quite yet. Perrin tried his best impression of a 1 versus 5, but didn't quite get it. He did, however, give up a kill for the Vi and himself, so did, work out in favor of Stopwatch at that point. But Perrin now pushing in the bottom side. Darkblood is also going to answer that push. Both top laners have teleport available, as the big purple worm will be the next objective that they want to contest here, and we'll pick up that Rift Skull for the Rift Skull Shrine, and don't quite get the CC to connect onto Samus. Gonna blast away, get over the wall here as well. He had his dance and shoes on, he manages to get it.
Yeah, really pulling the, what's it called? The, how do you call it in English? The evil team from Pokemon.
Team Rocket?
Team Rocket, yes. We call them Rakietiacy here in Czechia. So, regardless, he manages to get away. Now, as you rightfully said, the Baron buff is up, and the dance is going to start. The tango, the jive, the cha-cha. Right? Yeah, same wavelength. So, now, who's going to be having the upper hand? When you look at the gold lead, it should, of course, be Glorious Gaming. They have the superior 5v5, even though Hank Hankerson isn't at his late game stage just yet. However, we still see that both top laners are trading happily in that bottom side of the map, and if there is something that the direct camera absolutely loves, it's the side lane fights of just 2 tanks smacking each other. Okay.
Whisper actually connected there with the Giant Snowball. Actually had to flash away from that engage, and it's a good punish from Jappy, but they're not going to really get anything from it except that flash.
Yeah, and that's exactly why Whisper is just so slippery right now. He has the Arcane Shift and he has the flash, but you see that as soon as he uses the Arcane Shift, and there's nothing left for him to use, he just gets caught out and just slowed down so much because of the new E. And well, while Perrin is still trying to find something in that bottom lane, the same can be said about Stopwatch in that mid lane, as he is pressuring tier 2. And Glorious Gaming
on it as well. That's a big pick from Credible. Gets 2 kills here for his side. Eventually will be going down on the side of Samus. In comes the Sand United as well. They don't care about the base. There's 2 members on the side of Glorious Gaming pushing in. One on the inhib, the other on the inhib tower. But they got 2 kills. They're not going to defend this. They're going to eventually back, but I think they're going to secure both inhibs before that happens.
That back did get stopped by something, however, because they haven't backed just yet. They're going for Nexus turret, it seems already. Is this turning into a weird base race?
It seems like it. There's 2 versus 2 in the base of Stopwatches. It's a 3 versus 2 now here. 3 versus 1, I should say, as it's just the Yumi to defend. Gonna get a lot of damage onto him. Ruksho will eventually be going down there onto the Nexus towers now. As a Q comes out from Whispered, they're gonna try and defend. In comes the teleport as well. Double teleport now as it's being challenged by the top laner. That's a lot of damage. Hank Hankerson takes out Jappy. But now it's the Shen alone in the base, had to Shadow Taunt away. He has his flash available if he wants to try and get away even further. Might want to try and turn it back around onto Perrin, but that's a lot of damage coming from the Gnar. Flashes a flash, and now Darkblatt should be going down. Meganar gets popped. That's a lot of damage coming through. Life Binding will not connect, neither will the Singularity. Out comes the House. Will connect, will get the slow, but he doesn't want to go for the 2 versus 2, the 1 versus 2. They're onto the Baron. They will pick it up on the side of Glorious Gaming.
And my brain just hurts so much from these 5,000 IQ plays. Stopwatch, they stayed in the enemy base for so long, and they did manage to get the inhibitor, but for what cost? They gave away 2 of their own inhibitors, and they also gave away a Baron buff as a result, because in the end, they were forced to back away as they just lost too many members. And now, Glorious Gaming, they're very firmly in the lead. In fact, I dare say that a single team fight won from them now can result in just a game.
I love this adjustment, let's say, from Perrin. He went with the Blade of the Rune King as well for extra tank shred ability, that true damage against the health percentage damage. I love that on Anara. I love when people build it. Against Jappy, against Darkblatt, it's working out so well for him. It's why he was shredding through the health bar of Darkblatt earlier on. And now he has even more tankiness with the Randuin's Omen, working out so well for Perrin.
I am scared. Dark Soul, I did not sign up for a horror movie. Right now, that's what Stopwatch are watching. Like, they're going to be facing so much damn damage. They're going to be facing the Baron buff minions, the extra damage from that buff. They're facing 2 Infernal Drake, and their structures are going to be doing the same thing as fight goes in.
Yeah, they look for a fight here. Out comes the Feral Chapter, has a lot of damage. In comes the Shen United as well. They're going to try and find a pick. A lot of low health bars on the side of Stopwatch. They don't get anyone just yet. Shadow turned away. Flash in from Hank Hankerson. Finds a lot of damage. Ruksho picks up the kill. Out comes the Realm One. Gonna cut him off. Perrin is the one that's being targeted by Jappy, but one has to feel he will be going down. He will. That's a flash forward. A lot of damage coming out from the buy. Finds a double kill there in the enemy base. And Malkabel is gonna go down eventually here. Goes Golden. Soul Shackles will be coming out as well as the ace comes through for Glorious Gaming. Glorious Gaming shows the side of Stopwatch. That last win that you had against us was just a blip on the map. We'll take you down.
What a performance from Glorious Gaming. Also Stopwatch. I think that if there was a fiesta that we wanted, then we certainly received it. Both teams going absolutely ham at each other. At times you couldn't know who was actually winning the game. It always looked like Stopwatch were going to be able to take it, perhaps. They were pushing down the enemy base while they had their own enemies inside of their base. It was fun, it was bloody. However, when we look at the bigger picture, I think that there are clear weaknesses that Glorious Gaming have shown. They still are pretty greedy. They still do not respect the vision that they need to have to be going into the jungle, and they get caught out often. And as a result of that, I think that it can be a really big hindrance as we move into the further half of the league and as we move into more not skillful, but more organized teams that can play around the vision, that can play a bit more of the Korean style, because they're going to struggle against them.
Yeah, I think that's almost even an understatement, saying that they're going to struggle against the higher tier teams, the ones that will desperately punish what mistakes Stopwatch are making, the vision discrepancies that they have, the overextensions, the disrespect that they have for the amount of damage that can come out from their enemy team. And I think it was the same on the side of Glorious Gaming, actually, in this game, where they were disrespectful in the amount of damage, in the amount of communication that could come out from Stopwatch as well. And they were overextending on both sides, but it was just the scaling was better somehow on the side of Glorious Gaming. The communication was a little crisper. Perrin, the way that he itemized really well into Darkblatt and Jappy. I'm kind of surprised.
Of course, Hank Hankerson, a huge standout performance from him once again, showing us that, well, he's got damage. If I look at the damage graph, of course, it still was, in fact, Perun with the most damage on Magnar, but right behind him, it's Hank Hankerson. And just so that we don't focus on the bads and negatives, I think that, as you said, individual performance, definitely a big plus from Glorious Gaming. However, once again, I'm a bit sad if that is all that they have to offer. Again, they kind of have to work out on their kings, but it's clear that they have communication. It's clear that they can play as a 5-man unit. Their team fights were almost immaculate. And, well, they still have what it takes, I think, to go into the top of the standings, as now I believe that after this game, they're on the 4th spot. Of course, that's without the teams that are going to be playing tomorrow. But still, that's pretty something good, right?
Yeah, Glorious Gaming go up to 4-3. They were tied with Vuptrox Academy. So now they will be, I think, as you rightly said, they will be in fourth place, at least for the time being. So they're really working their way into a sort of high-tier playoff contention at this point.
Oh, yeah.
They want to show everyone how good they really are. And I think that they are a decent team. And as you said, that they will be able to contest for the higher spots in the league. But they need to really coordinate a bit better, stop the disrespectful sort of plays, overextensions, and work a little bit more on the communication, because I think besides that, I think that they can be one of the contentions for a higher spot in the league.
Oh yeah, definitely. And perhaps they can iron these things out. We still have a lot more weeks to go. I believe around 5 or 6, I think, and then playoffs. So that's going to be very much fun. But it's not only today in this week that the teams are going to be playing. Tomorrow we should be back at 7 p.m. Central European Summertime with Bittersweet Gaming against Royal Reapers as the first match. And then it's going to be actually CBA playing, so...
CBA versus Phoenix Horizon. So that will actually be a really interesting game to keep an eye on, because Phoenix Horizon so far has gone undefeated. So they kind of the dark horse coming into this league, since they were brought in after a couple of the teams dropped out from the league. So they're one of the newcomers to SQ1. So we'll have to keep an eye on them, see how they play into one of our top teams, actually CBA. And that action will be brought to you tomorrow by Viperoon and CJ. So you're in great hands there.
Great hands.
But unfortunately, that will be it from. I'm sure you do, Cam. I'm sure you do. But unfortunately, that will be it from us for today. Join us back here tomorrow for some more SQ1 action. We'll see you guys later.
Have a good one.